go to the revision. Revision means that we will see some of the basic aspects of cardiovascular system. Can you see the slides, please?
Yes, no, not yet.
Not yet. So what the problem is there? Can you?
The screen, but not the slides.
You can see the screen, but not the slides. So let us stop sharing this one. And we go to, these are the entire screen, a tab. Let us see a tab. Which one? Clinical anatomy. No. Then we will share this, a window. Yes. Now you can see it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, doctor.
Oh, let us hurriedly we go. Please look at these questions and try to solve these questions. So the first slide reads 2 questions. Now I will be silent. You just read them. Do not write the questions, just write the answer. So question number 1. It will take 5 minutes. We have 10 questions. And this will cover your CVS that you have done in your biology course. Number 1, about sternal angle. So when you have done it, we will move to the next slide. Please just let me know. One of you can take the lead to inform. I think Izzuddin is there. You can tell me that move to the next. So we can go to the next slide, please. Yes, Izzuddin.
Okay.
Should we move to the next slide?
I hope so.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
students are replying in the chat.
Okay, no problem. Please read the questions carefully. The second question, the blood has started in the left leg. So how it will go to the circulatory system? Please do not write the answers in your message box, because let the others to solve it. Keep the answers with you. Okay, let us go to the next slide. 3 questions are there. So 3 minutes. I think we should give half minute to this. Very simple questions. So let us go to the next slide, please. Anybody wanted to come, I think. Okay, slide number 3, question number 6, 7, 8. So 1 minute has passed. So please hurry up. Two minutes. So let's go to the next slide, please. Two questions. 9 and 10. Now these all slides will be put on your e-learning. I will just place it on e-learning. Please look through this 1 minute more. So let us see the key. The last slide contains the key. Please try to check your answers for these 10 questions. Okay, please let us go to the today's lecture. You can see it afterwards also. We have stopped sharing, and we will share the other slides, which is now opening, and I will go to share this one. Can you see the slides, please?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah, okay, good. So first thing is that we have to see that where our heart is located. Why we are concerned about this? The problem is from your third year, when you will start your clinical attachment, you will go to hospitals. So a patient comes to you with any problem of heart, so you have to locate it in a living person. We always talk in anatomy about, we can see a dissected dead body's heart lying in our museum. We can see the pictures, but when we try to locate any organ in our body in a living person, we need a special study of anatomy, and that we call surface anatomy. So surface anatomy means how we correlate our internal structures to the living status of a patient. Did you get my point? Now, in this cardiovascular system, if you see this, so we will like, in a diagram, we are looking this heart over here, but how this is in a patient, how can we mark it out in a patient? So we have taken this in your biology lecture also, but again to revise this, this is very important. We will mark out superior border, right superior border, right border, inferior border, and the left border. So these borders will complete the heart picture where it is located. So this is what we call surface marking. Now when you see on the body, in the picture on this side, we have marked the superior border, the right border, inferior border, and the left border. Now to mark these four borders, we will be utilizing some of the landmarks, some of the prominent points, some of the milestones. Now these surface marking points, the landmarks, the milestones, they are very, very important. So if you see this picture, we have put a skeleton. Now, theoretically, we can say that we will mark this upper border over here. We will, for each border, we will take 2 points. For example, if you look over here, this is the first, second, and third, and this is the rib, and this is costal cartilage. So third costal cartilage, upper border. So we will mark a point. This is the bone, central bone of the chest, the sternum. This is the union between the costal cartilage, the joint between the costal cartilage and the sternum. If you recall back, we have got this first rib with a piece of cartilage. So first costal cartilage, costosternal joint. And you see over here, we have the clavicle also attached over it. So this is clavicosternal joint over here. We will go to the second. Now over here, for whole of our land surface markings, if you put your hand on your chest, you can feel this point as an elevated raised point. This is what we call sternal angle or angle of Lius, Lious. This is the name of some god in Greek mythology. In Greek religion, they just put some, they have got various gods and their name have been utilized. So this is also called as angle of Lius. So this is, if you see over here, this is opposite to the second rib and second costal cartilage on both sides. So this is a very, very good landmark. We will see it again, detailed of this landmark. So please remember, this is the sternal angle or angle of Lius. Now we have remember counted from this in a living person, we will feel this. We cannot see the, we cannot palpate or feel the first rib because it is covered with the clavicle. If you put your hand on your thorax above, you can see the clavicle, but first rib is covered by this clavicle. So we take this sternal angle or second costal cartilage as a first landmark. From here we count, we can feel the third costal cartilage. We take a point over here on the right side. This is our right thorax. This is our left side of the thorax. We take another point. Look at this. This is the second right. This is the third right costal cartilage. This is the second left costal cartilage. So we make these 2 points. We unite these 2 points. It will make the upper border of the heart. So over here, we see the sternal angle. We come down to the third right costal cartilage. On the left side, we see the sternal angle, palpate it, feel it, and then we put a point. So this makes the upper border of the heart. Then we start counting ribs again because this was the third, then fourth, fifth, and sixth. We make a point here. We already have this point. We join these 2 points with a vertical line, but this line, please listen carefully. This line should be convex outwards. It should go out in a curve like. So this is the right border of the heart. Now, so first, this was the landmark angle sternal angle of Lius. Now, second, we have another important landmark. If you place your hand on your left side of thorax, you will feel apex beat. This is the beat of the heart as we have talked by the left tip of the left ventricle. Left ventricle pushes our chest wall and creates this elevation, this feeling. So this is apex beat. And we see it, if we count from here, this is between first rib and second rib, first, second, third, fourth, and fifth intercostal space. Intercostal mean the space between 2 ribs. So from first to fifth, so this is left side. So left, fifth intercostal space. Another important thing is from this sternal center of the sternum, we can measure this distance. It is about 9 centimeters or 3.5 inches. So apex beat is an important landmark milestone, which is located in the left fifth intercostal space, 9 centimeters from the sternum. Now this marks an important landmark. We can feel it. If you place your hand in a living person or on your thorax, you can feel apex beat. So from the second point here, which we have already marked for the right border, so we have counted the rib from the second rib, third rib, fourth, fifth, and sixth rib. This was the second point for right border. So this will make the first point for lower border, and we will go to the apex beat, join these point, and it will mark the lower border of the heart. Lower border of the heart. So this will make now the second point of the lower border will make the first point. Already we have another point over here, left second costal cartilage, opposite to the sternal angle for upper border. So we will join these points and they will place. Again, this line should be convex outside, not a straight line. It should be convex outside. So this area, we have got the location of the heart. So all this is summarized over here also. We have marked this second sternal angle. This is the space, left second sternal costal cartilage, then third costal cartilage, sixth costal cartilage, apex beat, fifth intercostal space, and left. So all this we have written it over here. This is in writing how we take the point for all these border. Quickly revise it. The right border we start, let us take this one. We start from the sternal angle opposite to second. So we take a point on right third costal cartilage. We take another point on left second costal cartilage. Meet, join these points. We take this first point and go to the sixth cartilage, another point. Make a convex line over here, the right border. We make the first point, sixth costal cartilage, and go to the apex beat. Join these two inferior border. Join these 2 point left border with a convex line. So this is again the marking of our heart in a living person. Now, another way to see this is taking an X-rays. Now, X-rays, these are special rays which are passed from the body of a patient, and we take a picture on a film plate. Now it has become less because it has got some side effects. When the rays cross through our body, they show some side effect. So we have better methods to see the things inside, like ultrasound, like MRI, like CT scan, and many more. Now, this X-ray, because MRI, CT scan, they are very advanced methods of investigations. When we look these structures inside, we call them investigating the body. So X-ray is still the cheapest method to see inside. So if you take an X-ray of a chest, we have taken it in a special sequence. And please remember, on every X-ray, we always put a mark. For example, it is written L. So L stands for left side. So this is the left, or we can put R here, right side. So when we see it here, our thoracic, these all air containing areas, please listen, all air containing area, where the air is there, it will appear black. So this all is air in our lungs. So this area is looking, we are looking at black. The area, rest of this area, so this in between, we have got the shadow of the heart, the shadow of the heart. So this is the position of the heart. Now in our X-ray, we can recognize some of important point. You will study it more also in your cases coming to be. But please remember, we can find that this area, this is marking the right heart border, and this line is marking the left heart border. This area is where you can feel your apex beat. Moreover, we can also mark out some of the areas for big vessels. If you recall back your anatomy, over here we have a big vessel, superior vena cava. The both vena cava collect the blood, superior and inferior. They are collecting blood from the upper part of the body into superior vena cava and inferior vena cava from lower part of the body. So the blood, deoxygenated blood, the used blood will come through these two big vessels and fall into the right atrium of the heart. So in an X-ray, the upper portion marks the superior vena cava. In between right atrium and lower is inferior vena cava. On the left side, this is another very good marking. This marking is by the aortic arch. And if you remember, from our left ventricle, we start a big vessel, the aorta, the biggest artery, and it will bend to the back. So this bending of this vessel makes what we call aortic arch. Now, pulmonary trunk collecting the blood, this will also open into the left ventricle. Then we have the left part of the atria, left auricle, left atrium. This is all left ventricle. So this is the right atrium. Right ventricle goes to the behind, not visible over here. Left ventricle, left auricle, aortic arch. Some people, they call it a bend of the aortic arch. So they also call it aortic knuckle. K-N-U-C-K-L-E, aortic knuckle. So right border of the heart can be seen. That this will be marked by the superior vena cava, right atrium, and inferior vena cava. This is all right border. Left border of the heart by the aortic arch, pulmonary trunk, left atria, left auricle, and left ventricle. Apex beat is over here. So on an X-ray, it is another way of investigation to recognize the position of the heart. Now, please look at this. If we measure this area and we measure this area by our, for example, we take a tape, measuring tape or a finger, this area plus this area is roughly equal to this area, heart area, base of the heart. If by chance, if this area increases, that means heart has enlarged. So this is for this X-rays. So two methods we have used. We have marked the heart on the surface by the surface marking, taking important landmarks, and we have come to the conclusion that our heart is like this, upside down, apex is over here. Then we have used the X-rays. We have recognized the superior aortic arch, the superior vena cava area, right atrium, and inferior vena cava right border, aortic arch, pulmonary trunk, left auricle, and left ventricle. So when looking at these slides, please next is again take a piece of paper and try to solve these questions. You have just now what we have studied. Let us see how much you keep in your mind, how much you remember. A 42-year-old male was admitted to the hospital after a head-on vehicular collision, that was car accident in which he received severe blunt trauma to his sternum from the steering wheel. So the central bone of the chest was damaged, was injured, was traumatized with the steering wheel. Which part of the heart would be most likely to be injured by this impact? Apex of the left ventricle, right ventricle, left ventricle, right atrium. Take a time to answer. This is just recall of the previous 4 slides. What do you think? Anybody who can answer? Which chamber of the heart will be affected, damaged? Yes, please. Any volunteer who can answer? Mohinnad is there, Omar is there, Izzuddin, Abdullah, I can read names, Abdul Waris, Muhammad Faisal or Omar, anybody who can reply.
I believe it is the right ventricle.
It is?
The right ventricle, B.
B, okay, very good. Let us see. Yes, you are right. So, please read these slides afterwards. This is the explanation for your questions also. We will put all this on e-learning. So let us go to the question 2. 59-year-old man is admitted to the hospital with severe chest pain. Very common pain after the headache is the chest pain. We have got pain in all parts of the body, but abdominal pain, chest pain, headache. So headache at the top. During examination, a rhythmic pulsation on the chest wall at the fifth intercostal space is noted. So this is the fifth rhythmic. Rhythmic means it comes and goes in the mid-clavicular line. Which part of the heart is responsible for this pulsation? So there is a special rhythmic pulsation, pulse, which is felt over there. So what do you think that if we put our, for example, hand or the stethoscope on the chest wall in left ventricular space, what we feel over there, what we can palpate, what we can listen with our stethoscope out of this? Sound is produced by right atrium, left atrium, aortic arch, or apex of the heart?
Apex of the heart.
Very good. Common sense works better. So we have got, so this is the apex of the heart. Number 3. Again, is admitted to the hospital with bullet trauma of the sternum. This is the same crash radiographic. Now this is changed. Radiographic examination revealed a cardiac tamponade. ECG data indicate that the heart has been severely injured. Which of the following cardiac sector you think that this will be, this will be damaged?
The same as the first question, right ventricle.
First of all, what do you feel that, what are these words? For example, cardiac tamponade. Anybody who is aware of this word?
Yes, doctor.
Cardiac tamponade. This word. What happened actually, if sometimes in our, if you recall back, we have covering of the heart and we have a pericardial cavity. In this, if there is something, some fluid is collected, for example, blood, for example, watery fluid. So this will make pressure on our heart. So this is what we call cardiac tamponade.
Accumulation of the fluid in the pericardial.
Yes, sac. So this will make, so when we have got ECG, it shows severely injured, very great damage. So which of the following cardiac sector most likely to be injured in this case, when it was on the front? Let us see the answer. This is actually the first one, the sternocostal surface of the right ventricular portion. Okay, so this was just for 4 slides. Let us go to the next. We will also like to have an area to study this area, mediastinum. You have been familiar with this word, mediastinum. Now this is actually, if we look diagrammatic, this is all 2 lungs covering the space of the thorax. If we, this we call, they are lying within pleural cavities, covered with pleura. So we have a right pleural cavity with pleural sac and pleural and right lung, and left pleural cavity with pleura, left pleural sac plus the left lung. If we measure all this cavity and remove these 2 cavities, what is left behind this area, which is colored gray over here? This is what we call the mediastinum. So if we read this thing, area between the right and left this pleura which is covering this area, we call it mediastinal pleura. So this area is what we call mediastinum. So practically this heart lies in mediastinum. And please, the lowest boundary between the thorax and abdomen, the diaphragm. Upper, this, all these structures, they go above to the neck. So this is area which we call inlet of the thorax. This is the Babu Dakhliya for this thorax. This is the entry and exit point. of many structures. You can see some big veins, this gland, thymus. You can see behind trachea. You can see thyroid gland above. So you can see these big vessels, carotid, right side, left side. Arch of aorta was coming from here. So now this is pleura covering the right lung. This is the right lung. Left pleura covering the left lung. So this is mediastinum. Now in living person, when we have to mark out mediastinum, we will see some surface markings. Already we have seen this sternal angle. So this was the sternum bone. We are looking from front and from the side. This is the attachment of the clavicle here, and this is the first costal cartilage, joint between the costal cartilage and the sternum. This is the second costal cartilage. So over here we have the second costal cartilage and then second rib, as we have seen already. So this point is raised point. This is what we call the sternal angle or angle of Lewis. So this angle is a big landmark. We can palpate it. Palpate means we can feel with our hands. And this has got, if we see behind this, we can see all these occurring over here. These are the phenomena, the incidents which are taking place behind this. So this will make one landmark. Second landmark, transverse thoracic plane. We will like to draw some lines which are imaginary lines. We will draw a line between T4 and T5. So please, when we put our hand on our back, we can feel these spines. So from this we can count the vertebrae. The seventh vertebra is very prominent. We call it vertebra prominence. From above, this is the neck region. So this is again the thoracic inlet. So from this we count, this is coming from 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the fifth. So this is between fourth and fifth up to this sternal angle. So this is the transverse thoracic plane. Transverse thoracic plane. So when we draw this line, this is, please remember, imaginary line. Above to this area is called superior mediastinum. And below this we have inferior mediastinum. Now this inferior compartment, from front to back, we divide it. Look at this first green portion, anterior mediastinum. Second, where the heart lies, middle mediastinum, and this is the posterior mediastinum in front of the vertebral column. So inferior mediastinum is divided into three compartments: anterior, middle, and posterior. Heart lies in middle mediastinum. So now we have to be very definite that this is, we talk that this is area of the heart. This is area of the heart, but to be more precise, this is middle mediastinum of inferior mediastinum. So to summarize this, if we want to divide this portion theoretically, this is our neck region. We have got, this is thoracic inlet. From here we see the sternal angle, and here we see the fourth and fifth thoracic vertebra. In between we draw a line from here to the sternal angle. This will make the superior mediastinum. And below we have inferior mediastinum. This will be divided into anterior, middle, and the posterior mediastinum. Now this mediastinum can be, is it clear please? Now we can see this mediastinum, a living person, from two sides, from our right side or from our left side. Now please look at this. We have removed the lungs here, but this area which has been encircled, this makes the root of the lung. If you recall back the respiratory system anatomy of our PYP level, which we discussed. So here what happens, all the structures either go inside the right lung or come out of the right lung. Left pulmonary, the space we call it a hilum. The right hilum and left hilum, and structures they all make root of the lung, because lungs are only vessels where we have, these are the arteries, they carry deoxygenated blood from our right ventricle, they bring through pulmonary trunk, come inside deoxygenated blood and become oxygenated and goes through the pulmonary trunks. So these are the veins actually, by definition. So we can look our mediastinum from the right side or from the left side. Look at these structures, very complicated structures. For example, we can recognize this on the back. This is the vertebral section. This is the sternum cut section. We can see sympathetic trunk. We can see vagus nerve. We can see some of the veins. We will label them and see them in next slide. This we call azygos vein. Azygos. Over here, if you see, this is the aorta coming up. This is the heart. This is the ascending part. And this is arch of the aorta. This is opposite to the second costal cartilage, sternal angle. Then this will turn down and we will call it descending thoracic aorta. This will go through the diaphragm and it will make abdominal aorta. Here we have big branches on right and left side. Let us see the next slide. Again, over here we have removed and make it easier. For example, these veins are coming, they make azygos vein. This is the azygos vein. They have got hemiazygos on the other side. These are again the vessels which enter and leave the lungs. We have got, this is the esophageal tube. This is again the esophageal tube behind. And we have got the thoracic duct. Then we will see this part of the aorta ascending, arch of aorta, descending aorta, descending thoracic. Then after diaphragm, we will call it descending abdominal aorta. So to recognize these structures, this is homework, please. Sit down, try to recognize these. For example, this right side, we are looking sympathetic trunk, covered with mediastinal pleura. Then we look this azygos vein. Then we have got left subclavian artery on the left side. So these structures, these slides, they show them marked also. So please sit down and recognize these structures. We remember it. Just for example, over here, arch of aorta, branches on the two sides, right side and left side, subclavian and the carotid. Then we have got the brachiocephalic going to the carotid and the left subclavian. Now in an X-ray, we have already seen it. So try to solve this very simple question. The 41-year-old male with complaint of shortness of breath, dizziness, sharp chest pain. The large arrow in chest X-ray indicate the region where the disease has started. Pathology is the knowledge of disease. So which structure is this one? Superior vena cava, right ventricle, left ventricle, arch of aorta. Just now we took.
Arch of the-
Okay. Yeah, yes. Okay. Now let us go to the next. We have to see the valves of the heart. And if you go back, I am sorry, the problem with this Google is we cannot use whiteboard at a time. However, please try to recognize the chambers. This is over here, the right atrium, right ventricle, the left atrium and left ventricle. So between atrium and ventricle, we have got these openings. We have removed the upper part. So between right atrium and right ventricle, we have a right atrioventricular opening. Right atrioventricular opening. Between the left atrium and left ventricle, we have got the left atrioventricular opening. So these are two openings. They are protected, are covered by valves. And the duty of the valve, we have talked in your biology course that they prevent the blood to go back. For example, if blood is here, as we have seen, this is the superior vena cava, another inferior vena cava, they will bring the blood here. Let us revise the circulation. Deoxygenated blood here, it will pass through this opening and come over here in the left, in the right ventricle. From here, it will go back to the lungs, pulmonary circulation. From this, it will take oxygen and come over here to the left atrium. Then it will go to the left ventricle. So this wall, very thick wall between the atria and ventricular, this portion we will call the interatrial wall, interventricular wall. So over here we have interatrial and this is the interventricular valve. Look at this, the left ventricle, because it has to pump blood to the aorta, big vessel. So it takes the muscle of the muscular wall of this is very thick, very strong as compared to the right ventricle. Very thin wall as compared to the wall of the left ventricle. This is the left ventricle because we have cut it, make a section and we have put it aside to our left side. So this is the left. Now back to the opening. So we have got this opening between right atrium and right ventricle. So this is covered by a valve. So we will call it a right atrioventricular valve because this valve has got three leaves, three leaves. So we call it tricuspid valve. Then we have got between a valve between the left atrium, left ventricle, we will call it bicuspid or mitral valve. So mitral valve. So two valves over here. Now two big vessels, one is aorta over here carrying blood from left ventricle, oxygenated. So this is again covered by a valve which we will call aortic valve. Then another over here we have pulmonary vessels coming, bringing blood from right ventricle to the lungs and then from lungs to the left atrium. So here we have pulmonary valve. So now four valves we have. These four valves, when we look at over here, we are looking from above. We have got this tricuspid valve. This is cut edge of the right atrium. This is cut edge of the left atrium. Below this, we will have the right ventricle and left ventricle. So we have got this valve, we call it tricuspid. Look at these three leaves, three portions. This is bicuspid valve. Now these are two valves which are atrioventricular valves, right and left atrioventricular. Then two valves, one in pulmonary, another in aorta. So we have pulmonary valves and the aortic valves. Again, we have look at this. This is the tricuspid, the bicuspid or mitral. Not this is the pulmonary valves, and then we will behind. This is the aorta. So we have aortic valves over here. This is the behind. This is the right atrium, right ventricle, and left ventricle. Are you with me? Can you recognize these structures? So we have four valves. Now, problem with the valves is that during what happens when we receive blood from superior vena cava to here, at the same time we will have blood over here in the left atria. So these two atria, please listen carefully, these two atria, right and left, they are filled with blood. So at this time, these two valves, they are closed, but these two valves are open because of this valve, aortic and pulmonary, because they have to push blood here and here, right atrium and left atrium. Now when this, so what will be the condition of the chambers when they contain the blood? They will be dilated or they will be contracted? What do you think? When the blood is there in the... Yes, please, anybody. Dilated, very good. So now when these two chambers are dilated, then blood has to pass to the ventricle. So these valves, they open, allow the blood to pass to the ventricle, and these two chambers, they dilate. So at the same time, these two upper chambers, they contract. So we have two conditions. So when these valves close and open, four valves we have named: right atrioventricular valve, left atrioventricular valve, aortic valve, pulmonary valve. So when they open and close, during this movement of the blood, they produce special sounds. When they open and, please listen again, when they open and close, during the passage of the blood, they produce sounds. These are sounds of the heart. So now one problem is there. If you look at the next slides, we have these valves located at these four levels. So if you take first one, this is the pulmonary valve. So pulmonary valve lies behind the middle and the third left costal cartilage. Please look at this. This is the first, below first clavicle is the first, second and third. So we have got over here this one. This one is the location. Please, these are not to be seen now. Just look these flat signs, flat locations. So we have pulmonary valve here. Then we have got aortic valve here. Then we have got the tricuspid valve here. And this is the location of the mitral or bicuspid valve. Now, I said that when these valves open and close, they produce sounds. So these sounds travel to our chest wall. We can listen these sounds. But problem is that the sound which we listen, they are listened at different locations. What I mean is, for example, let us take this pulmonary valve. So this pulmonary valve is at the level of third left costal cartilage. But when this sound is produced, it is not listened here. It is listened over here. Third left, the second left intercostal space. Similarly, when you see the second valve, this is the aortic valve. Aortic valve. Now, when it is open and closed, it will produce sound, but it is listened over here. Very strange, because they travel through the chest wall and we can listen it here, not here. Tricuspid valve, right atrioventricular valve. It is located here, right border of this sternum. But when we try to listen the sound, this sound goes over here. We can listen it over here. Fourth one, the mitral valve, left atrioventricle. It is located here, left costal cartilage. But sound is listened at the apex beat area of the apex, nearer to the apex, fifth intercostal space. So what has happened, if you see the next slide, these four valves, aortic, pulmonary, tricuspid, mitral, they are located, again, they are located at different positions, but their sounds with our stethoscope are listened at different locations. Did you get my point, please? Now these regions we have to remember. So these three slides, 1, 2, and 3. Now another thing in second slide, this slide, we have aortic valve, pulmonary valve, tricuspid, mitral valve. Now this is very good description. Aortic valve we have seen in the aortas, left ventricle from where the aorta will start. This can be listened in the second intercostal space, just lateral to the sternal angle. So over here, second intercostal space to the right side. Now location is not here for the aortic. Location is not here for the pulmonic. These are the locations. These are the auscultatory sites where we listen the sound. So again, this picture shows the same. Again, this picture shows the same. But problem is, another addition is that in addition to these 4 locations where we listen the sound of aortic, pulmonary, tricuspid and mitral valve, another point is there which we call ERBS point, ERBS. This is the left intercostal space. And if you see further, this ERBS point is very interesting. We will see this, what is S1, S2, but before this, we listen this in the third costal cartilage. Actually, it is close to the lower left sternal border. If you go over here, lower left sternal border, over here, lower left sternal border. Now this lower left sternal borders, actually what happens, we will see further, better, we go to this slide first. When we, can you see the slide please?
Yeah.
We have talked that the 4 valves, when they open and close, when they will close, they will produce 2 special sounds of the heart. So now please be very attentive. These 2 special sounds, we call them, when we listen them, they appear as loop, doop, loop, doop, loop, doop. We have placed a video here. We will listen this at the end. That this loop, doop, we also call first heart sound as S1 and second heart sound as S2. First heart sounds, second heart sound, loop, doop. Now this loop start here. This blood has to go to the right ventricle. So this right ventricle is filled with blood. At the same time, the blood from over here, from pulmonary veins, it will be filled over here. And from this, it will be pushed to the aorta through the mitral valve. So these 2 conditions, these 2 chambers, they will dilate. And we call it the diastole. When they contract, we call it systole. So these 2 heart sounds, again back to heart sounds, this S1, the 2 valves between the chambers, atria and ventricular, they are closed. So this will represent the start of ventricular. So what has happened? The happening is, if I was having a blackboard, I would have enjoyed it. This is the right atrium, left atrium. Blood has pushed and has gone to 2 ventricles. So 2 ventricles are filled. Filling state is called ventricular systole. At the same time, blood should not go back to right atrium and left atrium. So 2 valves are closed. So this is production of S1. Now the 2 ventricles have been filled with blood. These 2 valves are closed. So first heart sound S1 is produced. This is what we call loop. And now from here, blood has to be pushed to the aorta, and from here to the pulmonary trunk, to what we pulmonary veins, to carry it. This is deoxygenated blood. This is the oxygenated blood. So what will happen? These two will contract and push the blood to the aorta and to the pulmonary trunk. So these two valves, they will produce the second sound, dup. So second sound is S2, closure of the semilunar valves. Semilunar valves are aortical because their shape is like muscle hilal, the aortic and pulmonary valves. So this will show that ventricular systole has ended. It was started here, and beginning of the diastole. So they have starting the diastole, dilating. So please, this is, if you, let us try, this is a very small video. Please try to see it again and again. Let us listen it now also. If it works, can we share the video also from, yes, I think it will work. I tried it before the lecture, it was working. Yeah, yes, good luck. Can you see the video, please?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
But no sound.
No sound? Oh.
Yeah.
You cannot listen the sound?
Yeah, we can't listen.
Okay, then I leave it. Please listen it. I have given, there is, you can copy the, can we share 1 minute? Can we share, let us stop sharing this, and can we share another video over here? A tab, they say, which tab? Heart sounds and heart murmur, YouTube, share. Let us see.
Heartbeats, it makes a low
Can you
dub
listen it
sound.
now?
Yes.
The
Let
first
us-
heart sound,
So
lub,
let us
also
start
known as
again.
when a healthy heart beats, it makes a lub-dub sound. The first heart sound, lub, also known as S1, is caused by the closing of the AV valves after the atria have pumped blood into the ventricles. The second heart sound, dub, or S2, originates from the closing of the aortic and pulmonary valves right after the ventricles have ejected the blood. The time interval between S1 and S2 is when the ventricles contract, called systole. The interval between S2 and the next S1 is when the ventricles relax and are filled with blood, called diastole. Diastole is longer than systole, hence the lub-dub, lub-dub, lub-dub. Heart sounds are auscultated at 4 different sites on the chest wall, which correspond to the location of blood flow as it passes through the aortic, pulmonic, tricuspid, and mitral valves, respectively. This is how similar defects associated with different valves are differentiated. Heart murmurs are whooshing sounds produced by turbulent flow of blood. Murmurs are
We will stop it here. Now, this is telling about the extra sounds. Extra sounds means that when these are two normal sounds, how we can, yes, we have stopped. So please see it afterwards also. So we go back to our slides. How to go back to our slides. Okay, we share again a window. This is the window, share. So when you go back, please see this video and read all this. When we have extra, in addition to S1, S2, we call them murmurs. Murmuring actually is when we talk in a very slow voice in the ears. So this is some special sounds which we call the S3 and S4 sounds. They are extra sounds. They are not normally audible. We do not, these are the diseased sound. This is when the heart is not properly working, then extra sounds or murmurs are produced. Now another thing we will refer back. So what was over here? So please again back from this. These four valves, their location is different and their sounds can be listened differently at different locations. So this all we have to remember. This we have seen. Now when we see this, you will see, try to solve these questions also. Then we go further. Now when we are not concerned much with this, you will come across in your cases another important recording of the heart sounds. We can record these heart sounds by a special machine which is shown over here. This we call phonocardiograph. This is phonocardiograph. It can make pictures like this. So this picture is a normal picture. This is the first heart sound and second heart sounds. Then again circle will start, first heart sound, so the circle will go like this. Now if you compare this first, so this is called phonocardiogram. Phonocardiogram. The machine is making a graph. So this, we are not concerned how we make it. No need to study how it works. Only to see the results. So this picture is a phonocardiogram. If you see, compare this picture, for example, this picture A to the B, look at the distortion and expansion of this first heart sound. Now this happens in condition which we call aortic stenosis. Now the word stenosis means narrowing. So when the aortic valve become narrow, then it produces this special sound, aortic stenosis. Then if you compare this, look at this. This is another view of the first heart sounds, but this amplitude was more over here, but amplitude is very less. And this has created a different sound. So this has made in the case of mitral regurgitation. Now regurgitation is a word which means sometimes if we have a very good food in front of us and we eat too much, after some time we feel that our food is coming back to our mouth. This is called regurgitation. Did you get the meaning of regurgitation?
ارتجاع.
Yes. When
Is
we,
it
yes,
is
please.
it very different from burping?
Gurgling is sound only,
Yeah, okay.
but this carries the stomach products. Yani what we have eaten, it will carry it back to. So when the heart valves, they become loose, they do not close properly. What they will do, the blood will also be pushed back. So this is sort of leaking of blood. So this is called regurgitation. So when this is like aortic valve becomes loose or mitral valve becomes loose, we get regurgitation. Yani blood will go back to the chambers from where it has been pushed down. So again we have got change in the sounds. So we record this on phonocardiogram. Look at the normal first and second heart sound. But in this aortic regurgitation, we have the two sounds. This first appears to be normal, but second has changed. In mitral regurgitation, first has changed. Then mitral stenosis. Then patent ductus arteriosus. Now this is another condition. We will talk about this we have talked about this in PDA. Patent ductus arteriosus means, if you recall back the fetal circulation, we have got one connection which we call the ductus arteriosus. to carry the blood, because in fetal life, lungs are not working. So blood is not pushed to the lung for oxygenation. It directly goes to the aorta. So there is a communication that is closed when we are born. It may, if it does not close, then we have extra heart sounds like this. So we will see this phonocardiogram again. We will study this. This is an introduction. We will see this in case 2 or 3, I think. Then another important thing which we will see is the heart is working all the times. And we have seen during development that heart is the cardiovascular system, is the system which starts working. First of all, it starts working at the end of 2nd week of our development or 3rd week of our development. So from this, it goes on working. Even if we are sleeping, heart is working. So it stops only at the time of death. So for working, it needs blood supply. There is a special arrangement for the blood to be supplied to the muscle of the heart. This is what we call coronary circulation. Coronary circulation. If you recall back, we have seen it already, but just to recall back, this was the ascending aorta. This is the arch of aorta. So from the ascending aorta, only 2 branches arise. One is what we call right coronary artery, another is left coronary artery. So these 2 coronary artery, they make coronary system. Coronary system. So these 2 coronary arteries, they arise from ascending aorta. Only 2 branches. They arise from ascending aorta. When they arise from ascending aorta, they supply muscles of the heart, whole of the heart. So this circulation is very specific. If it closes for some times, what will happen? Anybody who can guess? If we stop this coronary circulation or any, for example, we stop this vessel, what will happen to the heart?
Heart attack, stop.
Heart attack.
This is, yes. And what the person will feel, what the patient will feel.
Like sharp pain suddenly.
Yes, heart pain. Heart attack is the name of the disease. Person will feel heart pain. Or the other word, any technical term, anybody remember what we call this heart pain?
Myocardial infarction.
That is the change, that is pathology. But what is the pain?
Angina.
Angina, very good. So angina is the pain felt by less blood supply to the heart. So this is less blood supply, we call ischemia. Ischemia. So less blood supply, if it goes to the muscle of the heart will cry for the help. This is called angina. And when angina has occurred, blood supply will not go to the muscles. So what will happen to the muscle? Muscle will become dead. So it will not pump the blood properly. It will not make systole and diastole properly. So this will make the circulation of the blood not in a normal way. So when circulation is not normal, what will happen? We will come forward. When circulation is normal in cardiac cycle, we record this cycle by a special machine. Now all this is a phenomena of what we call an electrical phenomena. Electrical phenomena. Look at this slide again. This was the heart cycle. The 2 chambers, they dilate. Blood is here. It will go down. These will dilate. These will dilate. They will dilate. They will dilate. Then they will contract and they will dilate. This is cardiac cycle. We record this like this. This record is called ECG, electrocardiogram. It is not phonocardiogram. Phonocardiogram is this one. It records the sounds of the heart only. But ECG, or American call it EKG. They record the electrical activity of the cardiac cycle, of the heart cycle. So this has got a very special, you will study this in this block. We will, this will be taken in physiology, how we have different waves, P, Q, R, S, T. P, Q, R, S, T, P wave, Q, R, S, T complex, and T wave. So what this map, we call it electrocardiogram, ECG or EKG. What makes this cardiogram? The cardiac cycle changes. If any problem occurs, for example, this part of the muscle is defective due to less blood supply, there will be change in the ECG. So ECG will change. And before this, we also see over here. So we have to remember the normal blood supply. So when we see these two vessels, coronary arteries, right coronary and left coronary, from where they have started, branches of ascending aorta from here. This is the right and this is the left. Now please remember, we will remember the anatomy of these two vessels, which is normally in all of us, but every one of us may have some modification, some changes in the blood vessels. So we will remember a generalized picture. So when we see these two arteries, there are various maps. From aorta, we have right coronary artery and left coronary artery. They have started. Now let us follow the right coronary artery. This right coronary artery. So this right coronary artery, when let us see it over here. Now what is over here? This is the right atrium. This is the right ventricle. This is the left ventricle. This is the left atrium. So look at this, between atria and ventricle, there is a depression. We call it atrioventricular sulcus. Sulcus, a line. For right coronary artery, after starting from here, from aorta, ascending aorta, it will go to the right atrioventricular sulcus. Another sulcus is over here, left atrioventricular sulcus for left coronary artery. This is front of the heart. This is back of the heart. This is for venous system. We will see it afterward. But this is front of the heart. So when this artery has started, please look at this picture. This is the artery. So it usually gave a branch to SA node. Anybody remembers what is SA node? SA node.
Pacemaker.
Yes, this is the conducting part of the heart, which carries the electrical pulse. We will not revise it, but we have parts SA node, AV node, bundle of His, Purkinje fibers. So, right coronary artery starting from aorta, ascending aorta, it will give a branch to SA node. Then it will go further, and where it is running? In this sulcus. Look at this, this is front. Now over here it will go down and give this big branch. This is called marginal branch, marginal artery. Then it will go to the back of the heart, to the posterior surface of the heart. So if you look diagram, this has gone like this and this has given one acute marginal branch in front. Then this less colored, this is dim colored branch, this has gone to the back. Here it will run AV branch. Then it will give posterior branches, posterior septal branches, and it will run down as posterior branch of the descending. This is the descending artery. So this is a general plan of right coronary. Again, right coronary artery has started from the ascending aorta and running between the right atrioventricular groove in front of the heart. When it runs, it first gave SA node branch, then it runs down and gives acute marginal branch to the front. Then one of the big branch goes to the back. This is the posterior branch, posterior descending branch. Then it will give AV branch and it will give posterior septal branches. Septal branches are 2 or 3 or 4. So this is for the right coronary. Now over here, left coronary. It also starts from the ascending and will turn to the left atrioventricular groove. Atrioventricular groove will run in front and one branch will go to the back. So let us see how it behaves normally. Left coronary artery. So it has gone to the front. This big branch, we call it LAD, left anterior descending, LAD, LAD, left anterior descending, LAD. This will go like this, and now it will turn to the back of the heart. This back of the heart, this we call circumflex branch. Some branches will be again on the corner of the over here. On the corner of the heart, this branch over here, one branch will arise over here, not shown here. So this branch is, this is the marginal, obtuse marginal. One was acute marginal from right and left obtuse marginal. Then it will also give branches, the what we call as the ramifying branches. So circumflex. Again from this left anterior descending anterior septal branch. This is again anterior articular septal branch. As the name indicates, these two branches, they will supply the septum between the two ventricles. Now, another important thing to remember. So this is generalized division of the two coronary arteries. Again, right coronary artery, SA node, main right coronary, acute marginal. Going to the back, posterior descending branch. AV branches, posterior septal branches. Left coronary artery and left atrioventricular groove, it will give a big branch, left anterior descending, which will give anterior septal, then some other branches, anterior septal. Then it will turn like this, circumflex to the back. Before turning, it will give ramifying branches and obtuse marginal branches. Now, over here, if you look, if this coronary artery, the artery that gives the posterior, we use one term which we call coronary artery dominance. Means that our heart has got arrangement of the posterior interventricular artery, this one, posterior interventricular artery. Either it can arise from right coronary artery or it can arise from left coronary artery. If it arises from the right, please listen carefully. If it arises from the right coronary artery, we call it right dominance heart. If it arises from left coronary artery, posterior interventricular from left, we call it left dominance artery. So if posterior, this one, interventricular artery is supplied by the right coronary, then the coronary circulation is right dominance. If posterior interventricular artery is from left coronary artery, we call it left dominant. Now, if posterior interventricular artery is supplied by both, yani right and left, then we call it co-dominant. So now you have to remember three terms. Branch is posterior interventricular artery, means going to the back of the heart. If from right, we call it right dominant heart or right dominant coronary circulation. From left, left dominant circulation. But from both, then we call it co-dominant. Now problem is that we have to, this is a site, please look at this site, very interesting. If these arteries, they become blocked, we have angina. The muscle will become dead. We call it infarction. Infarction. INFARCTION, not infection, infarction, myocardial infarct. So when right coronary infarct occurs, the damage we call it inferior myocardial infarction or posterior myocardial infections. Then LAD, this branch, big branch of the left coronary arteries. Then we have circumflex back to the heart from the left coronary artery. So three big infarcts can occur. Or myocardial infarction can occur. Right coronary artery infarction, LAD infarction, and circumflex infarction. And we have seen them here that right coronary infarct, when this branch, it gets blocked, the LAD infarct by lead branch and circumflex by circumflex branch. So from making a map of this infarction, yani ECG, we can diagnose or we can see which part of the heart muscle has become ischemic, which muscle of the heart has become infarcted, INFARCTED. Now, so this is, we will see details. Please see the details of coronary artery. We will again take it in your third year, in your another block also. Now, another thing, which last thing is that we can feel these arterial, before this, just 1 minute, please. We have also to see the venous drainage because it is getting blood supply. So it will put the veins. There are three systems of the veins. One is that we have got these venous systems that they have got great cardiac veins, small cardiac vein, and middle cardiac veins. Then we have got on the back of the heart one big sinus, coronary sinus. These three veins, they open in this coronary sinus, and it also open in the right atrium, like superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Second system is very small veins from the heart. They open in all chambers of the heart. These small veins are called vena cava minimum, minimal cardiac veins. Minimal means very small. So these are the territories we have make a description. We can feel our pulses, arterial pulses at different regions. We have seen this in your CVS biology. Here we can feel our femoral pulses, Here we can feel our cardiac pulses. Here we can feel our popliteal pulses. Here we can feel our radial pulses, posterior tibial pulses, and dorsalis pedis pulse. Do you remember these things?
Yeah.
So these are the pulses and relationships. Now here we feel, this is the commonest site where we feel our the radial pulses. And when we feel over here, actually with this we see one tendon of our muscle. This tendon is carporadialis muscle, radiocarpalis muscle, carpal muscle of the carpiradialis muscle. So this is the commonest radial pulse which we feel. But we can feel ulnar is not palpable much, but we can feel all these pulses over here. Now, all these vessels, they become thick due to deposition of cholesterol, fatty materials, and this we call atherosclerosis. We will study this in detail, but to introduce this, we have a pathological vessels method that causes the damage to the vessel. Which vessels are affected? Even biggest vessels, aorta, cerebrovasculature, blood vessel of the brain, coronary arteries, peripheral arteries. When we study these atherosclerosis, we find that epidemiologically there are some risk factors. What do you think that what can be the risk factor? Which people can have more deposition of cholesterol in their blood vessels? What do you think with common sense? Which person will have more chances of deposition?
Obese people.
Obese people. And why they become obese? Because they eat more, eating fatty foods. So in atherosclerosis, we have two types of risk factors. One we have put here modifiable and one are not modifiable. Modified, we can change them. For example, blood pressure is high, we can control. Cigarette smoking is there, we can stop. More fat in our blood, we can stop. But these are non-modifiable. For example, with age, for example, blood vessels of your body and my body will be different. More we have used, so we have more thick blood vessels. Male gender or mole, family history, genetic abnormalities. So we have got this. What will happen to this due to smoking, due to hypertension, high blood pressure, hypercholesterolemia, more cholesterol in the blood? They will damage to the inner lining of the vessel. So you recall back, we have our vessels inside lining epithelium, which we call endothelium. So injury will occur to the endothelium. So what will happen to the endothelium? This will rupture.
Dysfunction.
So and blood can leak through it. So this is will lead to the formation of immigration of blood vessel, blood cells, macrophages become activated to protection. So this is just one slide for an introduction of atherosclerosis. Then last thing again, practice quizzes. Please go through these quizzes. There are certain pictures. Now this picture, we will again take it in our practical also. We have one practical also for this thoracic circulation. And when we have on 1st of September at 10:30 to 12:30, 2.1 practical. So we will again talk about this. This is a section, we make special pictures. We imaginary pass the rays through our body and take pictures. CT scan, computerized tomography, imaging. This is normal. We can recognize the left ventricle, right atrium, left atrium, the parts of the heart. Look at this. We have taken this at this level of vertebral level. Then this over here, image of penetrating. Look at this. This was a normal heart, but something has penetrated. Something has gone inside. So this is by a nail gun. Some bullet has gone inside and damaged this. And what has happened? All blood will, all chambers, they have been distorted into the right ventricle especially. So here we were, this was the right ventricle here. So here the damage has taken place. So we will see this again in detail, the various CT scans of the heart. But go through these questions and answers are there. This is the map which we will call ECG. This is one of the questions, but you will study it again. Please try to solve this question when you are finished with the ECG, physiology of the heart. So over here, for example, we have put all this in also diagrammatic sections. The explanation is there. Another thing is that this is just related to it. If sometimes what happens, if there is a blood cholesterol high in our body, then this cholesterol get deposited on our lids, upper eyelids especially. So this appears like this. This is a skin rash. They come over here. So this is a very special. It is an indication. Then we call these as xanthomas. Xanthoma. Xanthoma. So this person will consult eye specialist first, and it is the duty of the eye specialist to recognize these xanthomas and refer them to the heart specialist, to the physician, so that he can get control of the cholesterol. Xanthomas. This is written over, type of xanthoma. This is xanthalcema or xanthomas. Xanthoma is coming from the xanthome is the cholesterol. Xanthalcema, bilateral xanthoma. So please go through the video, go through the MCQs, lot of MCQ we put because it will lead to your practice. Already you have seen all these things. Try to revise your lecture of P by P and please use the sections which was given as aid, as a helping lecture to the aided lecture to your P by P biology. Any question, please? Anything in your mind? You can ask, please.
Doctor,
Yes, please.
regarding the blockage of the coronary arteries, which coronary artery is the least dangerous to get blocked?
If you look at this picture, we can guess out it, but problem is there are other factors also. If you look at this is more profuse, more branches. So when they branch, they become very small, very small. So left coronary is usually more at fault, left coronary. But other factors like smoking, like cholesterol. If, for example, I am having normal cholesterol, controlled blood pressure, then chances are very less. Exercise, less eating of the fast foods, everything. So closure of the vessels is depending on these what we call multiple modifiable factors. And in this we cannot control our genes, but we can control blood pressure, we can control cigarette smoking, we can control more cholesterol. So all these can be controlled. Diabetes, for example.
Thank you.
Any other thing,
Doctor,
please?
the
Yes, please.
same. Yeah, if you can go to the, I think, slide 21,
About,
which is talking about the coronary arteries.
yeah.
If someone told me like there is infarction in the left side of the heart,
Left side of the heart. Actually, one problem will also occur. I have put this slide. Right coronary artery has two major branches. So right marginal posterior interventricular artery, left coronary, left anterior interventricular, LAD, and circumflex. But problem is every book will describe different areas supplied by these artery. So this is a generalization. If you look over here, this is a generalization, but every one of us will have different arrangement. So it is very confusing, but this is generalization. And in this slide, we have made it easy. For example, if right coronary artery gets blocked, we will get inferior. And this you will study in ECG. This will appear in ECG. This is taken from this site. Very good site for the ECG reading. So first attend the lecture of physiology, then see these slides of infarction, please.
okay.
So the variation is too much. Variation is much. For example, if you see this ECG, now this is actually we have to look. We have seen this PQ. This is the P, Q, R, S, and this is the T. So changes will occur. For example, look at this second lead. This QRS complex has become very small, and look at this. QRS has become inverted. It is normal over here, up, but it has come down. So this will lead to pathology, to disease. V1 to V4 illustrated show the anatomy of the coronary blood vessel supply. So first attend that lecture, then study these slides. Any other question, please? Okay, we stop at this, and please go through this lecture, video film, and revise these things, and good luck. So Alhamdulillah, we have started with your second year, and you will see time will fly. Inshallah, when the life is there, time flies. Okay, good luck, and yes, please.
About revising the lecture, the same lectures, it's not the same lecture as in the e-learning. There's some extra stuff. Should we just revise
Yes,
the one
this
with the
is
e-learning?
this will be loaded on e-learning, not the old lecture. Old we will remove it. This will be uploaded today. Both practice your revision MCQs and all this will be uploaded. Just now I will try to upload it. Give it to Dr. Mateen and he will upload.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good time.